Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to leave a comment and hit the notifications for more videos. Today, we are looking at the press briefing of KK Karoline Leavitt in the White House, Washington, D.C. Let's go right to it.
100% of all job creation under President Trump continues to be in the private sector. This is truly remarkable. That's 615,000 private sector jobs that have been added in President Trump's second term thus far. These are real working people. These are real American families who will be living out their American dream. Meanwhile, federal government employment has shrunk to its lowest level since 1966, saving taxpayers $29 billion annually. And all of the net job growth under President Trump has gone to native-born Americans, ending the disgraceful pattern under Joe Biden of job gains going to non-citizens.
Listen, native-born Americans. So immigrants are not getting those jobs. Brown people are not getting those jobs. Only
despite all
white
of the doom
native
from
Americans.
The so-called experts, the president has managed to utilize powerful tariffs to secure trillions of dollars in investments into our country and rebalance our trade deals while simultaneously cooling inflation. Year-over-year inflation fell to 2.4% in January, beating expectations again and marking the lowest level since May. Core
2.4 inflation is still high. I think that's high, right? High inflation. 2.4.
Real average hourly earnings for all private sector workers rose in the month of January, which means more money is going back directly into people's pockets. After only 1 year of President Trump back in office, real earnings for all private sector workers have outpaced inflation by nearly $1,400.
Private sector.
Earning back roughly half of the $2,900 they lost under Joe Biden.
Why would you want private sector numbers, private sector jobs,
Americans purchasing
and not other jobs?
President Trump's policies are and will continue to allow Americans' incomes to go further for bills, retirement, and achieving the American dream. A key part of the American dream is buying a home. And that is finally becoming more affordable under this president. This past week,
house affordability is a mess right now. Donald Trump a couple of weeks ago said, I want the housing affordability up. I want houses to be more expensive for his billionaire real estate friends. That's all it is. They don't want affordability housing. They don't want affordability food. They don't want anything to be affordable. All they want is to be in the billionaire's dick 24/7. That's all they care about.
And have declined for 6 consecutive months. The annual rental cost for a new rental unit has fallen nearly $100 so far under President Trump.
Wow, $100. So she said rent is going down $100 when landlords go up $500 at a time. So $100 less ain't gonna help. It's not helping shit, bro.
Tomatoes and butter have fallen since President Trump took office, and he is continuing to fight for even lower prices at the grocery store for the American consumer. At the gas pump, fuel prices are down by almost 10% over the past year. The average national price for a gallon of regular gas is now less than $3 and is approaching $2.70 in some states, and much lower than that. And
they've been saying the gas is going to be lower since last year, and gas it's been going down a little bit, but not under $2 at all. It's like $2.60 here in Massachusetts.
Patients, thanks to President Trump's most favored nation drug pricing deals and the great health care plan, which he is calling on Congress to pass as soon as possible. What President Trump wants Americans to understand is that this is only the start and the best is yet to come. The historic success that we have seen since he took office is just the beginning of enormous growth and opportunity that we are about to witness. And I know the president looks forward to hitting the road and being with the great people of Georgia tomorrow to talk about just this. So with that, today, I know there's a lot of news. I will open it up to take your questions, and we're going to start, as always, with our new media seat, the great Michael Graham from Inside Sources. Thank you for being here, Michael.
Thank you for having us, and thanks from our 200 newspaper partners around the country. So you mentioned gas. We didn't mention natural gas. And back where you live, your friends and family are paying among the highest prices for natural gas.
She's from New Hampshire, by the way.
For electricity generation, the #1 source of power across New England. The cheap gas is in Pennsylvania.
She's from New Hampshire.
To buy gas in the country, New York City and Boston. The problem is the blue states will not allow the gas to travel to produce electricity or to reach customers. When President Trump first came back in office, there was some talk, him and Governor Hochul in New York possibly reaching a deal. When will consumers in the Northeast feel relief from President Trump's energy policies, and what can he do about state objections to expansion of infrastructure? Then I have a quick follow-up.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the president has promised all Americans across the country, and in particular in the Northeast, where we do face much higher costs of electricity and of energy, unfortunately, because of the Democrat policies in the area. From the federal government's perspective, the president and the National Energy Dominance Council, Secretaries Wright and Burgum, are doing all we can when it comes to federal permitting. The drill, baby, drill agenda is obviously underway. The president has made a huge push for more fossil fuels.
I don't think they have drilled a single thing of oil. Drill, baby, drill. No, it's still, baby, still. They're stealing all the oil from Venezuela. They're stealing all the oil from Iran. That's all they're doing. It's stealing oil.
In this energy dominance agenda, including governors in New England and the Northeast, by contacting Governor Hochul directly to get this Constitution pipeline underway. This is not only going to bring down the cost of energy in the Northeast, it's also going to support job growth and energy affordability and more opportunity for workers in the Northeast. And I just have a quick statistic here on energy that I found fascinating, and it's obviously true because I'm saying it up here. Red states with Republican legislatures
is obviously truth because she's saying it from the podium. How in the hell that's the truth?
That's exactly why
because you saying it is not the truth because all you do is lie to the American people.
To get on board, let's bring prices down for all Americans, whether they live in a red or a blue state.
So right down the street from your alma mater, San Antonio College, you talk about building an ICE facility that's causing a lot of political agita in New Hampshire, and for the Republican governor, Kelly Ayotte. Seems to be some miscommunications argued on both sides. Even Republican supporters of Trump who live in the town say, we're not sure we want this. What's your message to the folks in New Hampshire about this proposed ICE facility?
The message is that illegal immigration, while the border is secure, is still a problem across our entire homeland. And the previous administration allowed nearly 20 million illegal aliens from countries all over the world into our country. And the president and Secretary Noem have done a phenomenal job at deporting. Nearly 3 million illegals have left the country either through deportation or self-deportation.
Those numbers are so inflated. Like not a single detainee has a criminal record. 70% of the people that they have deported or having in the camps don't have a criminal record. All they have done is come here illegally. That's it. And they put that in the law. If you come here illegally, that's a crime. And back in the days, that was just a misdemeanor, you know. But now is a crime, and you will get deported.
Put a stop to, but of course, we still need to grapple with the illegal alien criminals who are here, and that requires more detention space. Thank you, Michael.
Camps, detention camps.
Ron, I'm not asking you for like military secrets here, but can you share?
Know I would be so unwise.
Unless you want to give them. Can you share a little bit about the president's thinking on whether or not to strike Iran, who he's talking to, what information he's consuming, and why a strike might be necessary on a nuclear program he says was obliterated by the last U.S. strike?
Because that was a lie.
Reasons and arguments that one could make
the first
for a strike against
bombing didn't do nothing. Iran. It wasn't obliterated.
Had a very
it was just hit. But they continue. They continue to build the nuclear bombs.
The president.
So now Israel is getting back into the ear of Trump, trying to make Trump bomb Iran again.
Wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration.
We already had a deal. Barack Obama has had the Iranian deal, and Trump got out of that deal. Now you have to bomb Iran because Israel is telling you to do it.
About what's in the best interest of the United States of America, of our military, of the American people, and that's how he makes decisions with respect to military action of any kind.
And on the flip side of that, he's got the State of the Union speech next week. If he is going to take military action, does the administration believe it's important to sort of convince the American people, sell the American people? Will we hear something about that in the State of the Union to make the case for why something like that might be necessary to risk American lives?
Look, again, I'm not going to engage in a hypothetical. Good try, Garrett, but you can't catch.
It's not hypothetical. It's a real question. You just don't want to answer it, because Trump will bomb Iran anytime, just because he wants to distract you from the Epstein files and the State of the Union, that his speech that he's going to give.
Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the administration's decided to appeal a judge's ruling that in essence was trying to put the slavery displays back, arguing that the federal government believed it had the power to disassemble and disassemble historical truths when it has some domain over historical facts. The judge said it does not. The administration said that you were planning to put up updated interpretive materials and provide a fuller account of the history of slavery at Independence Hall. What more was the administration, or is the administration, planning to add?
I'm not familiar with this specific instance, Ed, to be honest with you, but I will check in with the appropriate people who are overseeing this, and we'll get you a more firm answer.
One other question. Then yesterday in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right?
No, we're not kidding.
Pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across,
Including J.D. Vance.
in fact, I know that.
J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler.
And the president very much looks forward to having a event.
And he recently shared a video of the Obamas in monkey suits. So that's the most racist thing a white person can do. Putting black people as monkeys, as apes. That is racist. And they don't want to admit it. It's just racist. It's just racist. It's unbelievable. You know, that they demand this type of proof. Like racism comes with receipts and with timestamps. You know, that's the trick. You know, and she's gonna say no, it's not racist at all, but it's racist.
As a racist, and I'm happy to provide you those receipts. And we got
the receipts, we got the video, we got everything. Trump is a racist.
And pledges for the Board of Peace. Will we be able to get a breakdown of which countries are providing each of those pledges?
Like O'Keefe asks when Trump is falsely called racist. Are you kidding me? That's her answer. Are you kidding me? Wow. These people have no shame.
And the president will be opening the meeting tomorrow with remarks, and will sort of formally be chairing the meeting at the beginning before he departs for Georgia tomorrow.
And then on the sewage spill, the sewage pipe that broke on the Potomac, can you give us an update on the federal government's response? And officials have told CBS that some of that aging infrastructure is a concern, that this particular pipe wasn't even of the most urgent concern. Do you know if the government is looking into which other pipes could be at risk of collapsing?
Well, the next step in this process is for any of the three local jurisdictions involved, whether that's the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Maryland and Governor Moore, or the District of Columbia, to step forward and to ask the federal government for help and to ask for the Stafford Act to be implemented here so that the federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected by Governor Moore in Maryland for far too long. In fact, it's no secret that Maryland's water and infrastructure have been in dire need of repair. Their infrastructure has received a nearly failing grade in the 2025 report card from the American Society of Civil Engineers. This is the same.
Listen, what she meant was she's just waiting for them to come and beg for help. You know, they want Westmore to come to the White House and kiss Trump's ass. You know, and leaders don't do that shit. Westmore has some dignity in him. And Trump's job is to go help the American people, because That's his job. Now, but because it's a blue state, he wants Westmore, the governor, to come to him and beg for help.
Democrats just need to ask. A few minutes ago, Maryland's Governor Wes Moore asked. He said, if the president wants me to ask nicely, our response is this. Please, Mr. President, do your job.
To which I say, I'll ask the president and we will provide you.
Yo, there's no shame. Like, Peter Ducey in that question is like, here, he asked for help. Will you help? Well, I'm gonna ask the president to see if he wants to help. But hey, he needs to beg more.
District of
Try
Columbia,
harder, Westmore.
including all of you. So you're welcome.
To your point about that, there are a lot of events coming up for America 250. The president wants people from all over to come to the nation's capital. Is he worried that by the summer, the Potomac River will still smell like poop?
He is worried about that, which is why
Peter Ducey, man, he has the opportunity to do 2 questions, and he just strike out so bad with those 2 questions. Like, bro, take your job seriously, bro.
Much more money.
you'll be hearing more about that tomorrow at the meeting.
Don't forget to follow my page, my channel, DJOMEGAMVP. Click on the notifications, leave a comment, leave a like, you know, share with your friends, share this page with your friends. More videos every single day. Here we go. We continue watching Karoline Leavitt press briefing of today.
Which is sort of the second part of this plan. So you'll be hearing more about that tomorrow, but I would just point out $5 billion worth of investment. We're talking about reconstructing Gaza. I remember when those words came from the president's lips in the East Room many months ago, and all of you in the press were bewildered at how the president could have such an ambitious goal of rebuilding Gaza, which is obviously a place that has been just...
He's rebuilding Gaza. He's rebuilding it for him. He's rebuilding it to build Trump's towers in there, and not and displace those people from their homes. And Israel is there doing the same thing. Like, Trump doesn't care about those people. He doesn't care about Americans. He doesn't care about nobody. He just cares about himself and his own benefits.
With some more detail in the next couple of weeks, and so the president will continue to watch how this plays out. Sure.
I'll follow up on that. Thank you, Karoline. On these Iran talks, I mean, how much time is the president willing to give it before he is seriously maybe considering military action? Is he willing to give it that full 2 weeks? And has he given the Iranian officials a deadline on when he wants to see a deal?
It's a fair question, Rachel, but I'm not going to set deadlines on behalf of the president.
And this thing, it's a fair question, but I'm not going to answer it because that's a tough question, and we don't want to answer that question because we don't know anything about that. We don't know what we're doing. Trump doesn't know what he's doing, so it's a fair question, but I'm not going to answer it.
House to try to make a deal on this?
Not to my knowledge, he hasn't had any direct conversation or correspondence with Democrat lawmakers recently.
Like I just called it.
He's not willing to. I'm just not aware of any conversations that have taken place. I do know the White House and the president's representatives have been in direct conversations with both Democrats and Republicans. But of course, Democrats are the reason that the Department of Homeland Security is currently shut down.
No, Democrats are not. I'm not being. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's your fault. DHS is doing a horrible job. They're not doing anything. They're killing people, arresting people with no criminal records, having an affair. Kristi Noem and his new dude are having an affair, traveling in private planes, firing your people because they don't have blankets. Come on. DHS is a mess.
Caroline, President Trump has talked about a forthcoming executive order on voter ID. Is there more details you can provide about for that? And can you talk about any steps that you're taking to overcome court challenges that you've kind of faced in this area before on voting?
Well, as the president said in that Truth Social post, he's discussing and exploring legal options for a potential executive order with respect to voter ID. But this is something he's made very clear he wants Congress to get done. The Save America Act is a common sense piece of legislation that has now passed the House of Representatives to ensure that voter ID is a requirement in the United States of America. This is a common sense policy that nearly 90% of the country agrees with. You need an ID to go and purchase alcohol. You need an ID to go to the library and check out a book. And so the president...
You don't need an ID to go to a library and get a book. You don't need an ID. You need an ID. You know what? You know what you need an ID for? For your Botox, for your fillers and Botox. Look at those. I bet you need an ID to show to your Botox doctor, right? You need an ID for that, for your fillers, for your lip fillers, for your eyebrow Botox. You don't need an ID to go to a library. Like I wrote, you don't need an ID to get a book from the library. You just need proof of residency for your library card. That's it. Like if the town where you live, you just need to show your address. You need to give your address. Fun fact: buying alcohol isn't a constitutional right like voting. You know, showing your ID to buy alcohol is for teenagers, so they don't have to buy alcohol at an age of 18. You need to prove that you are 21 plus to buy alcohol, not to vote. So that excuse that they use, oh, we need it for this, we need it for that, we need blah, blah, blah. No, voting is a right of the American citizen, and they are trying to suppress the vote of the Latinos, of the blacks, of any other citizen of the United States, because they know they're going to lose the midterms in 2026.
You should have an ID to vote in our nation's elections, and I know the vast majority of Americans agree with him on that, and he wants Congress to move quickly to get it done.
Like, I missed the part where buying alcohol and going to the library is a constitutional right. Like, I really forgot that part. Like, that shit is in my mind, and I can fathom the lie of her. Like, do you need an ID for those two things? It's like an excuse, an excuse, and excuses. Shut up. Jesus.
Sure.
On Cuba, you know, it's increasingly being described as a humanitarian crisis. What is a successful outcome for the U.S. that the U.S. wants to see in Cuba? Is there anything less than regime change that would be considered success?
I think, as Secretary Rubio has articulated, and the president himself, we obviously want to see flourishing and prosperous democracy.
That's what they say about Venezuela. That's what they said about Venezuela. There's a humanitarian thing. We need to get the dictator out. So they took Maduro out and left the vice president there. Same thing is going to happen with Cuba. They're going to take whatever the president of Cuba is, the dictator. They're going to take him and put Rubio as a vice president, as the president of fucking Cuba. Rubio is doing this for himself.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Following up on Gaza, this $5 billion, who exactly would be in charge of managing this money? Would that be the president himself making the final decisions on how these funds are spent?
It will be the Board of Peace, which the president is, of course, the chairman of, but all of the member parties, I believe, will have votes on the funding. And then, of course, there is that technocratic layer underneath the official
The Board of Peace is another grift of Trump. He is doing this for like reorganizing the world as a new world order, and nobody's joining the Board of Peace. Nobody's joining that $1 billion fee to get in. Trump is just stupid as fuck right now.
On that Board of Peace announcement, you mentioned there will be the announcement of who comprises that International Stability Force. How soon will that force be deployed? And have all of the regional partners, all of the regional countries signed off on the makeup of that force?
I don't have a timeline for you today, but again, I'm sure you'll hear more about this tomorrow. So
No timeline.
You'll join us at the event. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. Two questions.
Sure.
First, the president has talked a lot about housing affordability, and several countries that are facing housing shortages, including Canada, for example, have imposed a ban on non-citizens, like foreigners, from buying their houses. Do you know if that's a strategy that the president would be willing to deploy?
Well, first of all, the president is obviously committed to deporting illegal aliens from our country and those who are not lawfully present in the United States, which he has done at a record pace, which has led to the falling of rents, as I pointed out in my opening remarks.
Rent are not following down. $100 is not rent going down because they are going. The rent is going up by $500. So he's not making things right in the rent department.
By American families.
And people owning homes is gonna even get worse because Trump wants to bring up the house market up because he wants his donors, his billionaire real estate donor, to make more money. So affordability housing is not gonna happen. Everything's gonna be more expensive, and every single month everything's gonna be more expensive because of the tariffs and Trump being on the side of the billionaire class. So please, give me a fucking break.
Created by Joe Biden's administration and jacking up mortgage rates.
And blaming Joe Biden is not going to help you anymore. Stop using Joe Biden for everything. Trump is the president for almost 13, 14 months, and you still blaming Joe Biden. Shut the fuck up.
Ukraine. Yesterday, Zelensky said in an interview that he says that it's not fair that the president is saying that Ukraine has to make concessions. He's saying this publicly and not Russia. Has the president seen these comments? And when the president says that Ukraine has to make concessions, is he referring to giving up Donbass?
I think the president would respond to that by saying he does not think it's fair that thousands of Ukrainians are losing their lives and Russians.
I don't think it's fair that Trump promised to end the war in 24 hours. And it's been 14 months and the war is still going on. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that Trump lied about that. I think it's fair, right? Like, fuck Russia. Fuck the troops. Russia invaded Ukraine because Putin is a bully. If Russia wants to stop losing troops, they can get the fuck out. That's all he has to do. And they are seriously blaming Ukraine. Like, Trump is seriously still blaming Ukraine for this war. And I'm glad he's past Joe Biden because, like he said, if I was president, this shit would never happen because Joe Biden blame Joe Biden for the war. It's disgusting that they're still doing this when Trump promised to end the war. Putin is the one who invaded. Like, get out. Like, the only person that can end the war is Trump, is Putin. Naturally, Russia is bragging from the position of strength. It's not up to them to make the concession. It's not up to Ukraine to make concessions. It's up to Putin to win the war.
The president has a decision to make, and he will do that. And I'm not going to broadcast what that decision may be ahead of him.
President Barack Obama, Karoline, was recently asked if aliens are real. He says they're real, but he hasn't seen them. The president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, told Miranda Devine of the New York Post that the president has a prepared speech on this issue that he prepares to deliver at the right time. Is that true? And
he's prepared to do it at the right time when the Epstein files are like up his ass. When the Epstein files are up his ass, he's gonna bring the aliens. Trust me, he is going to bring the aliens, but not right now. In the future, trust me, they will come.
We'll keep you posted on that.
Let's keep you posted.
Tyler.
They will come.
The White House has touted an unprecedented amount of cooperation with counties in Minneapolis after the negotiations with Tom Homan. Are those written or verbal deals with the sheriff? How many have agreed to cooperate on immigration enforcement who previously refused to do so?
Yeah, the last time I spoke with Mr. Homan, which was just a few days ago, he assured us that nearly every single county in the state of Minnesota has agreed to notify ICE when they are releasing criminal illegal aliens from their jails. This is an unprecedented level of cooperation that we have not seen. It has led to not only cooperation to detain illegal aliens in Minnesota, which just this past week I have looked at the list. They've detained some very heinous people who none of you would want living in your communities, but has also led to a much more calm situation on the ground. We've also seen, and you've seen this with your own eyes.
Listen, policy that affects community could come with transparency. if there are writing agreements, show them. If not, don't say that. Stop lying, because the mayor and the governors have said that there's no deal being made with DHS, and DHS is now shut down. There's no deal. I stated by numerous local officials. There's no deal. There's no deal. And certainly not in writing. It's disgraceful. It's really disgraceful. If there is no paper, there's no accountability, just backroom understanding, there's a possibility of deniability. Come on. Stop lying.
John.
Thank you, Caroline. You mentioned two things, DHS closed and the SAVE Act IDs. Both of these could get solved in 15 minutes if Senate Leader John Thune simply got rid of this phony 60-vote cloture rule and got 51 votes, and that would be the end of it, because everyone in this room knows if the Democrats take over, they'll get rid of that rule in 90 minutes. They already tried it one time, and the
that dude is a plant. That dude is a MAGA plant.
Are no longer there, Manchin and Sinema.
This whole room is full of press and journalists, and not a single question about Epstein. All these people in that room, and not a single question about Epstein.
So this legislation can get moved.
Well, the president has a good relationship with Senate Majority Leader John Thune. They keep in very close contact, and they work together all of the time. I hear your passion in your voice, and I know it's shared by many Americans across the country, including the president himself. He wants to see the SAVE Act voted, and he's expressed
the SAVE Act won't pass because that law will disfranchise women, Latinos, blacks, and America's naturalized citizens. That won't happen. The filibuster will stay on, because if they take the filibuster off, trust me, Democrats will use it. So don't fucking treat me to a nice thing right now. You know, if you want to do it, but don't yell and cry when Democrats come and use it against Trump. So get your shit right.
That I would say the president certainly thinks that Governor Pritzker is not doing a very good job of managing his state, as evidenced by not only the waste, fraud, and abuse, but also the crime in the city of Chicago. That unfortunately Governor Pritzker has refused to pick up the phone and call the White House and ask for help on, which is something his residents want him to do, but he refuses to do for political reasons.
Girl, nobody's gonna call you. You're supposed to do your job. Do your freaking job. Go help. Do something. But don't beg for people to come to you.
To Georgia tomorrow, if you can provide some additional information about that, why Northwest Georgia was chosen for this particular trip, for instance.
Sure. Well, Georgia is obviously a very important state to the president and to the Republican Party.
Northwest Georgia, you know who's there? Do you know? You know? I know. Marjorie Taylor Greene, aka Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's her district. Trump is going there just to rub it up in MTG's face because she's out, and now he has to endorse somebody else to take her seat. That's why he's going there. It makes perfect sense.
Repeal these federal limits on emissions for cars, trucks, and power plants. And in the president's presentation, he mentioned that American families will save $2,500 for a new car or truck. Where is the promise coming from automakers that they're going to pass along their savings to those families all across the country?
It's a great question, John. That was an economic analysis that was provided to the president, and I'd be happy to provide that to you so you can take a look yourself. But I'm glad you brought up the president's announcement.
Listen, nobody's getting that money. Nobody's getting those savings. Do you think the consumers are going to get those payments, those deductions? No. The car companies, the CEOs are going to keep all that money. Like the WAPO board, the same board that was bought and paid by the president of Allies in businesses. No, that's not gonna do nothing. Like even Jeff Bezos, of all people who stands to make billions more of his moves, is committing to this action. He's not going to do nothing. You know, climate change is real, and these people are gonna make it worse in this country.
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you. Governor Moore in Maryland signed a bill that is ending the law enforcement cooperation with ICE. And by doing that, a lot of local sheriffs are not happy. And in fact, they met today in Annapolis to come up with either a legal action. What is the message of the White House to those sheriffs and to the residents of Maryland?
Well, first of all, it's another despicable action by Governor Wes Moore. Why would you prevent your state and local law enforcement from cooperating with federal law enforcement if you just ask them?
Because we don't want them. They don't want them. We've seen what they've done in Minnesota. We've seen what we've done in California. We've seen what they have done in Seattle. We know what they have done in Chicago. Nobody wants them. Send them to red states. Send them to Florida. Send them to Texas. Send them to Memphis. Send them to freaking Oklahoma, Alabama. Send them there. No, but you only want to send them to blue states to destabilize those states, ruin the economy, and ruin the people from those blue states, right?
Sure.
Asshole.
Thank you, Caroline. President Trump just said on Truth Social that it would be a big mistake for the UK to hand over control of Chagos Islands to Mauritius. But the State Department earlier this week has said that the U.S. does support that handover. So does this post now suggest that the U.S. does not, or that President Trump has changed his mind on this?
The post should be taken as the policy of the Trump administration. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's directly from President.
So much for blaming the staffer for the racist Obama video. Leavitt just admitted that it was a lie that Trump handles his own post, unless he's racist. And then you blame the staffer, and then you blame somebody staffer, and then you blame another staffer. Unbelievable. One man's social media post overrules the State Department non-governance impulse. Jesus Christ. Got it. So Trump was responsible for all the racist Obama posts. Trump is a racist. Trump is racist. That post was racist.
That's their constitutional obligation and right and responsibility to do so. Of course, the administration also wants to see American school children in school learning and educating. And
those fillers, those lip fillers are truly uncomfortable to see. Because, Jesus, look at those lips and those Botox. She can barely close her eyes.
That local governance and local control takes place over our nation's
and
public
she's pregnant,
schools,
by the
and
way.
that parents and educators closest to students have a greater say over curriculum and academia in our country. Take a couple more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. The Vatican announced earlier today that they
Like,
would not
people got the right to protest. Kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, whoever, whatever age, they have the right to protest. It's just the assholes that go there and bother them. And then those kids have to handle them. And then they don't like it. They blame the kids. No, if they protest in peace, let them protest in peace. Don't come and bother them with your MAGA hat, making a bully act. And then when you get your ass kicked, you cry. Shut the fuck up.
Very bold and ambitious plan and vision to rebuild and reconstruct Gaza, which is well underway because of the Board of Peace. This is a legitimate organization where there are tens of member countries from around the world, and we think that's an unfortunate decision. In the back, sure.
Again, I repeat, Karoline Leavitt has taken like tens of questions, like 15 questions in this press briefing, and not a single one of them has asked about Epstein and Trump role on the cover-up. Not a single question. 30 minutes of this press briefing and not a single question about Epstein. That's when you know how bad this freaking press course is. Journalism is dead in the White House.
Perspective, to be honest with you, but of course the president wants peace for all people of all faiths all around the world, and that's part of his push to create peace in the Middle East, which he has done successfully.
My question is, as his popularity rises around the world, and especially in regions where he's invested so much effort in promoting peace and ending wars, do you think we might be watching the emergence of a global MAGA movement? Is this something that the President has discussed at all?
Well, I don't know, Jake, but I sure hope so.
Oh boy.
Take a couple more. Go ahead.
Global American. Global make America great again. What the fuck? A global Trump is the least popular US president over many generations. The world is smart enough to see how destructive MAGA cult is. Have you been here? No. People have seen how fucked up this country acts. And Trump is the worst president in the history of the United States. We are not educated. We are stupid. MAGA is stupid. They are morons. And they see it. Europe don't want to be like us. Trust me.
This week we saw the underlying affidavit for the search warrant that was executed in Fulton County, and there was not any mention in that document about foreign election interference in the 2020 election. I'm wondering if DNI Gabbard has uncovered that in Georgia or in Puerto Rico, where we know her team was sent as well.
I don't have any updates for you on that today. I would defer you to the director's office herself. Sure.
Of course, you don't got anything of Tulsi Gabbard going to Georgia and taking all the all the votes from them and hiding them from the people, so he can rig the elections in Georgia and everywhere else.
And how concerned is the administration that if an arms deal with Taiwan went through, that this could disrupt the China-U.S. Trade truce?
Sure. Well, I haven't read the full Wall Street Journal report. I will just say, with respect to an arms sale to Taiwan, I don't have any announcements or updates on that for you today. And to your first question about what the president will be signing, he will be signing an executive order, which you will all be hearing about later this afternoon, and you will see him in 1 hour at the Black History Month reception. We'll see you there. Thank you.
So let's hope Taiwan gets help, because Trump is setting up China to invade Taiwan. If Trump doesn't sell those weapons to Taiwan, that will mean that China has the green light to invade Taiwan. That's why when Trump went to China and made a deal with soybeans, I bet that deal included that he will shut the fuck up and let President Xi invade Taiwan. Because that's the game. Trump is letting Putin do whatever he wants with Ukraine, because we know how Trump is a puppet of Putin. We know that. So now Xi is using him the same way. They do a deal, a fake deal. You don't sell weapons. Trump doesn't sell weapons to Ukraine, to Taiwan. And then China invades, and that's it. Trump can't do nothing about it. He won't help. He won't help an ally in Taiwan, because we are allies. We help each other. And that will be the end. That will be another war that Trump created. So this press briefing was all lies. The SAFE Act is not gonna pass. That's bullshit. The EPA is ruining this country right now, because it took all the regulations away. Global warming is real, and Trump doesn't give a fuck. Housing affordability is a fucking problem here in this country, and Trump doesn't want to help. Trump just wants to help his billionaire friends to up the make housing more expensive. So Trump is not doing anything to help the American people. He's a racist bigot that portrayed the Obamas as apes. And now we know that whatever Trump posts in his social media is true and is Trump. Like she said, if you see something on his social media, just know that comes from the horse's mouth. So with that said, this is the video. Don't forget to follow me, hit the notification for more videos. Leave a like, leave a comment. Come on, leave a like and leave a comment. It's easy. And then share with your friends. Follow me on my social medias, Instagram, X, DJ Omega MVP. I will see you in the next video. Peace.